Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Easy Natural English with Liam. I hope that you're all well. I hope that you at least have some good weather. The world is still in a very difficult situation, but just try to look for the positive things in life. Today I want to talk about music. I'm going to talk about music. But first, there's a few things that I want to say because those of you who will know, who listen to my podcast or listen to the YouTube, you'll know that I do this with no script and no editing, all in one take, because I want you to hear natural English. So because of that, I often forget things that I want to say. So the last couple of episodes I've recorded, I forgot some things I wanted to say. So I want to say those first, and then I'll start talking about music. So first thing I wanted to say is those of you who listen to the podcast and not you don't watch the YouTube version of this. I made a special video to try and help students with their motivation. Because I know learning any language, it takes a long time. I studied French for a long time. Now I study Japanese. And I know learning languages takes a long time and it's hard to stay motivated. So I made a video to help with your motivation. So that is only on the YouTube channel. So I didn't release that as a podcast because it didn't work very well for like a podcast episode. So yeah, please check out my YouTube channel. You just search Easy Natural English with Liam on YouTube. The normal name of the podcast. You'll find the videos and look for the one that's for motivation. Check it out. I hope it helps you. The other thing I wanted to say is, I have the Patreon website. That's where regular listeners and watchers, if you want to help me, if you want to support me to make more content, then you can give a donation on that website to help me out. And I have a few people on there already. And on there, I post a grammar guide. So if you become a regular subscriber on there, you can read my grammar guide. And I just put a new unit, if you like, a new topic, which was comparing see and watch and look, and then comparing hear and listen. And I know those are trouble for a lot of people, so if that's difficult for you, then please check out my Patreon page. The link for that is in the description of the YouTube and the podcast. If you look at my main description, in the title, you'll see a link for my Patreon there. So with that out of the way, let's talk about music. So I thought today, maybe I did an episode about music before, but I thought I would talk a little bit about how my music taste changed over my age, and perhaps your story is kind of similar. So when I was younger, when I was like a teenager, because, when we're children, we don't really have a music taste so much. Maybe some people do, but when I was a child, I just listened to whatever my parents were listening to or whatever was on the radio. So I didn't really have my own taste so much. Maybe some songs made me want to dance a little bit, but I didn't really have a particular taste. So when I became a teenager, like a lot of teenagers, I started listening to quite aggressive music, like some angry hip hop, and some rock music, some like metal music, punk music, lots of stuff with a bit of attitude, because teenagers, we often, when we are teenagers, we have an attitude. So when we listen to angry music, we're like, this music understands me. The world sucks. The world is stupid. So I used to listen to a lot of that stuff when I was a teenager, particularly hip-hop. I really liked hip-hop. Some of it I still like. Some of the hip-hop I listened to then really wasn't very good. But I still listen to some good hip-hop. Like, for example, Dead Prez, I still think pretty cool. If you like, sort of hip hop that talks about society and societal problems. They're pretty cool. Dead Prez. But yeah, then when I was about 16, I started to play guitar. I got interested in playing the guitar. Or maybe 15, 16, maybe more like 15. Yeah, I started to play guitar. And of course, there's not many hip-hop songs you can play on a guitar. So I started listening to more kind of guitar-based music. And because of that, I discovered, or I found out about Bob Dylan. I'm sure many of you know Bob Dylan, a very famous musician, started in the 1960s. And, very famous for his lyrics, very famous for his words. He caused a lot of sort of problems in America. I mean, good problems, really, like revolutions. He changed the way a lot of people thought about the world. So yeah, I really became interested in Bob Dylan. And I still love Bob Dylan's music. I can listen to it again and again and again, and I don't get tired of his music. I think it's really great. So yeah, if you don't know Bob Dylan's music, please look at Bob Dylan. Beautiful guitar playing, beautiful lyrics, very nice music. And because of Bob Dylan, because I liked Bob Dylan so much I still like him, but when I was younger, I really liked this music, and it was really moved me. I thought it was had a big impact on me. So I wanted to know, like, where does Bob Dylan come from? Like, why does he make this kind of music? So I started looking for his inspiration. Inspiration is something that makes us want to create something or makes us want to do something. So his inspiration was Woody Guthrie. And Woody Guthrie is another folk musician, plays guitar and sings, and also, like Bob Dylan, was singing about problems in society, like discrimination, racism, discrimination against poor people. So like lots of these kind of societal problems. And then Woody Guthrie, I was interested in him. So I thought, well, who inspired Woody Guthrie? So then I looked further back, and then I started finding more blues music, like Leadbelly, Robert Johnson, Skip James, very old now. Like, these guys were making music in like 1930s. So you can't go much further back than that, because, sort of 1920 and a little bit before was kind of when recording equipment became available. So definitely before like 1910, you couldn't record music. So most music that we can listen to today, most of it sort of starts around 1920, maybe a little bit before. A lot of the music I like is actually from 1930s, 1940s, from a long time ago. I like a lot of old American blues music. If you don't know much, then start with Skip James. If you're interested in this blues music, look on YouTube for Skip James. Quite a famous blues artist for the kind of music that I like. Help you to understand. Actually, the song that is at the introduction of this podcast, that is also an old blues song from 1940 something. It's a very old song by a musician called Memphis Minnie, and I like that song a lot, which is why I chose it for my intro music. And the outro music, which you should be hearing about now, I usually put it in after recording, so I'm not sure when it will start. Maybe it's playing now. That music is kind of ragtime, which is a kind of old piano jazz music from a long time ago. And that is an artist called Jelly Roll Morton. And Jelly Roll Morton said that he invented jazz. I don't know if that's true, but that's his claim. He says that he is the inventor of jazz. So if you're interested in jazz, you should listen to his. I don't know if he was really the inventor. I think some people challenge his claim, but he's definitely one of the earliest jazz musicians. And he made this kind of ragtime music that you'll probably be hearing now. Anyway, so maybe that was boring for some of you, but maybe some of you are interested in this kind of music. If not, it's still good English practice for all of you. Yeah, so as usual, natural English, and sometimes I talk about topics that you might not like. But as always, I always recommend and always suggest that you comment in the YouTube comments what type of topics you'd like to hear about, and I can talk about those. So thank you all for listening today, and I'll see you all back here next time.